Previously on the Rainey family.
Well, are you guys able to do it at the door?
We might not have time.
Just breathe, baby, breathe. Baby, she's coming.
What are we doing next? Just ambush, right?
What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Baby, she's coming. She's coming, baby.
Just ambush, push. 1, 2, 3.
Causmic.
Tonight, I don't know what to do with you. We don't got no food.
Hey, Seven, baby.
Slipper a piece of this croissant I got in the bag.
Hey, baby. Hi, Grandma.
You ready? Here, give it in.
Hey, baby.
Give it to me, Mom. She's about to get her bag on. Yep.
We'll try to put a bill.
You about to eat. You about to eat. I'll decide. Decide? You about to eat.
Let me just check your bleeding real quick.
Okay. I know, boo. You about to eat? I know.
Looks fine.
I know. Needs salt. Blanket needs salt, huh? No, boo. Don't worry. You about to eat.
Okay, we're gonna.
Look at her. She looked like your baby picture.
Full as can be. That little drop will fill them up. You'll be amazed.
She looks like your baby picture, Karen.
When I was orange.
When you were orange. Look. Doesn't she? Oh my god. Oh, she's so sassy. Dog, you had a whole baby. Oh, she know.
Hey, baby.
He is 18.5
Hey,
inches.
baby. She's what?
18 and a half.
18 and a half?
6 pounds, 6 ounces.
Oh my god. I love it.
Little pouch.
Look, remember I was due the 15th and I came on the 16th just like her?
Oh.
How a day after the due date. I love it.
All right, guys, so they currently about to move us to a whole nother room. And yeah, so get ready for this little montage.
Some of your
She scares me sometimes. She just be so
Aww. Hey, mama.
Excited.
A whole newborn right there.
She smirked. Oh yeah.
She did.
Yes, she did.
Alright, you can put all your stuff here.
Yeah.
Right. I have to.
So you were still in the hospital
Yeah,
pillows?
baby, but she was here when she came. She was pregnant. Hold on. Waiting the paramedic. Yeah.
Look, she all swaddled up. Look at her.
So fast. I did all my ignition after.
She is not out. Alright guys, what's going on? It's the next morning and they just brought breakfast. Let's see what we got. Oh, we got some pancakes and eggs. And what else we got? Okay. This has the top on it. Maybe it's open. What is that? I don't know. Maybe that's something to pour on top of your pancakes, as well as the syrup right there. And what is this? Oh, that's coffee. Okay. So we got pancakes and eggs. We got some type of jelly stuff right there. And we have coffee. And they also brought us some Cheerios. We got a whole lot of orange juice and apple juice and stuff. And milk, which we might not be drinking that. Yeah. And there's Karen.
Hello.
How you feel, mommy?
Great.
You feel better now?
Yeah, so much better.
After dealing with all those contractions and everything.
Gosh, it was a disaster, but it was amazing. It's beautiful. It's over.
I know.
Yeah. That was
Oh
everything.
man. Yeah, you was going crazy, girl.
I was not going that crazy.
You was look. Yo, guys, she was going crazy.
Don't make it sound like that. I was not going crazy.
You know what? Hold on. You know what? But look, she did take it like a champ. I commend her for that. She really did take it like a champ compared to all the other pregnancies I've seen, and you know how women was going crazy, crying and screaming and yelling, you know, because they was having strong contractions. You know, she really wasn't doing all of that. I mean, she would clench up, and you know, she wasn't like all dramatically crying.
I didn't cry at all.
Yeah, well, you know, as a matter of fact, you didn't cry at all.
This whole process.
You didn't. Yeah, this whole process she didn't cry. Even when she gave birth, like she didn't cry at all. A little story time. Her water broke at home. We had a doctor appointment earlier that day. She was having crazy contractions, and they did check her that day, and they did say she was 2 centimeters dilated. That was about 11 in the morning. So they end up sending her home. She had anxiety that day about the whole, when, you know, after they checked her and everything, because it was painful. But we got home, and like right after that, she started just having crazy contractions, and it was lasting all day long. But they was like 5 to 6 minutes apart. And Kaiser basically told us, they said to bring her in when her contractions are 2 to 3 minutes apart and lasting for 2 hours straight. Who wants to sit there in pain waiting for 2 hours straight, you know what I'm saying, for 2 hours long, dealing with contractions that's 2 to 3 minutes apart? That's some serious pain, very painful. So she was already going through so much pain dealing with them, you know, 5 to 6 minutes apart. So the whole time we were sitting there, you know, she's dealing with the contractions. I'm trying to figure out, you know, different ways to soothe her. Later that night, she ended up throwing up a few times.
With the super strong contractions, like super duper strong contractions, I would throw up.
Right.
On the third time that I had like a super strong contraction, I threw up and my water broke in the middle of me throwing up. It was so terrible because I was still having a contraction. So imagine the pressure of a contraction, the pressure of throwing up, and then a huge burst. Right.
All at the same time.
Same time. That burst made me freeze. Like, and Deshaun was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" I was like, "My water broke." And he starts flipping out.
Yo, y'all, look, I started going crazy. I started going crazy, and you know, I had to just pause for a second. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me breathe. Let me get myself together. Let me humble myself right quick.
Like,
so
like Ricky
yeah, I started, yo, like literally, I'm sure whoever been in that situation before, you know, and they girl water broke, you know what I'm saying, you start going crazy as well. But like, you know, like I said, I had to humble myself. You know, I dialed 911, got them there real quick. They came real quick.
I had to think because I know that my next contraction was gonna come back in like less than 6-7 minutes. So I had to do as much preparing as I possibly could within that time. So I'm like trying to put clothes on and get myself decent for the paramedics to come, and they're like on the phone saying make sure I lay in a comfortable position. So I'm trying to climb over this puddle on the bed. Luckily we prepped the bed pretty well, and you know just preparing for this whole entire labor part period. But and then I get on the bed, and I was super fine, but as soon as the paramedics walked into my bedroom, I freaked out. And it wasn't like go crazy freaked out, I just had anxiety. So that made me just have contractions back to 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 back, and it was just like, all right. I was pretty calm until we got upstairs into labor and delivery at the hospital. Luckily, the hospital wasn't that far away. I was like, forget you, Kaiser. Okay, y'all screw.
Right. Yeah, that's another story. Right
Y'all
there.
screwed me so bad. I just want to know who sat in a conference room and came up with this foolishness about the 115 rule, and then suddenly you guys know for a whole 9 months that this was my first birth. So how did it go from 115 to what, 22?
What they said, 2 contractions every 2 to 3 minutes for 2 hours straight. So that was like 232. 115 to 232.
So after I sat through 1 hour of pain, I'm supposed to call you guys and say, hey guys, you know, I went through the 1 hour of pain. I want to come on into labor and delivery.
Right.
Wait a minute. We see in your charts that this is your first child.
Right.
So wait another hour.
Right. Like that whole 5, what was it? No, 115
115.
rule.
What that stands for,
Uh-huh.
for people who don't know. So your contractions are 5 minutes apart. They last 1 minute for 1 hour straight. So it's
Right.
511.
Oh, 511.
Right. They now changed that to say if this is your first pregnancy, your first delivery, your first everything, that now it needs to be 2 minutes
2 minutes
apart,
2 to 3 minutes apart
lasting
for 2 hours.
for 2 hours. And how long are the contractions supposed to be for?
Maybe like at least a minute or something. But because if they're like 2 minutes apart, 2 to 3 minutes apart, I'm assuming it lasts
Only
for a
lasts
minute.
for yeah.
And then you wait another minute or two, and then it come back again.
And then you're supposed to sit that way for 2 hours.
Right. So she was having contractions 5 to 6 minutes apart, and that baby ended up coming. Just imagine if we would have waited for her to have contractions 2 to 3 minutes apart for 2 hours straight.
I would have died.
We would have had the baby at home. Like,
Kaiser
I mean,
screwed me.
not even we would have had the baby at home, because the baby would have still came while she was having contractions 5 to 6 minutes apart. We would have never even reached 2 to 3 minutes apart, especially for 2 hours straight. So wherever Kaiser got that from, they need to. It doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody body is different.
Right.
So they need. I feel we both feel that Kaiser needs to take more precaution. Because that's why we didn't end up at Kaiser.
Be a little bit more attentive. Go ahead.
Right.
And be a little bit more attentive to everybody's different situation. You know what I mean? I was never gonna reach 2 minutes apart. Not to mention we live what, 30 minutes or so away from the hospital?
About 25 minutes.
25 to 30, depending on the time of day. So the drive, you know, I kept saying I think we should go, and then I kept taking it away because I'm like, what if this isn't real contractions? I get there and the anxiety of them checking me would have drove me insane on top of the contractions I already was having. And just to get there for them to send me back home, and it's like, this is what happened. Was they really downplayed my contractions. That's where they went wrong. They really messed me up with that, because they hooked me up to the machine. They checked me for about 15 minutes. They're like, oh, we see that you're having contractions, but we're gonna send you home because they're just not as
strong or severe.
Right. So I'm like, okay, well, me and Deshaun is thinking that contractions aren't contractions unless I am pulling out my hair and my eyeballs.
Right.
Pretty much, right?
That's what I was expecting. I'm like, okay, for her to have these strong contractions, she's going to be screaming, yelling, crying.
Yeah. Being that I was at home all day just saying,
you're like, oh, those don't seem that bad. That don't seem that bad. Next thing you know, there's a baby. So
everyone's pain level is different. Everyone's contraction, everyone's body, everyone's situation, everyone's baby, everyone's everything is all different. So you can't just sit here and tell everybody that they have to stick to these rules.
So yeah, to any woman that's out there dealing with, you know, these same contractions or anything, just be real cautious.
You know, what's scary about a situation like that is that I known of women who was in labor. The hospital or the doctor downplayed their labor, and they didn't know that their child was in distress because they need to come out. But the doctor saying, "Oh no, you're not ready yet," or "It's not time,"
right,
and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that was like a huge fear that I was having too. Like, you don't know. But anyway, I get up to labor and deliver and start ripping all my clothes. And they're like, "Ma'am, you're not ready yet. You're not in the room." I didn't even care that there was a random man pushing me.
Yo, she was like, "No, the baby is coming right now. The baby is coming right now.
I have to push. I have to push." And it's just this random guy who was just talking so calmly and sweetly to us in the elevator, and I'm all calm. He's like, "Yeah, you know, had my daughter last week, blah, blah, blah." And I'm sure his face went from, you know, blah, blah, blah to, what the hell is happening here? Because I was just so calm, like, "Oh, yeah, congratulations on your baby. I have to push. I have to push." And I'm just like taking my sweats off.
Right.
The nurse is like, "You're going to expose yourself. You're going to expose yourself." I'm just ripping off.
She's like, "I'm about to have this baby right now."
I felt her crowning. I felt her like she was there. Nobody was about to tell me nothing, okay? Like,
right.
This child was coming out immediately, and y'all not about to make me hold her in. Like, no.
Right.
I don't care what room, what hall, what department, what section of the hospital we're in. She's coming out now.
So just like she said, she wasn't even in a room yet, and the baby had started coming, so they had to hurry up and rush her up here to a room. And literally, soon as we got in here to the room, they put her on another bed. And at that time, she's still like, "The baby's coming, the baby's coming." So they hurry up and put her in a bed, and they immediately prepped her, and like they start delivering the baby. I managed to get some footage, but they didn't want me recording. You know, I was trying to still get as much footage as I can, and I guess just so I could put the camera down, they was like, grab her leg." so I don't know. I tried to get some footage for you guys, but at the same time, I was still trying to be very attentive to Karen. So
basically, she came within the next 35 minutes?
I would say it lasted no more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
She pushed no more than 10 times, I promise you. So they told her to push, and while she was pushing, they counted 10, and immediately after they counted to 10 and she caught her breath, they told her to start pushing again immediately and started to count to 10 again. And after that, they were trying to get her to push it the third time, but she just couldn't do it. So she had to sit there. She had to wait until another contraction came, because that's what helped her push, was her contractions. Yeah. So she waited for another contraction, then she started pushing again. She pushed twice, and of course she had to wait again, then did it again, wait, and then I believe her fourth round of pushing, she kept pushing because the baby was literally coming out. She was literally coming out, and she just kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing. And long and behold, 7 came out. But yeah, you guys, 7 came extremely fast. And on top of her giving birth, she didn't have no time for an epidural. Everybody's been saying, make sure you get the epidural. Make sure you get the epidural. She didn't have time for no epidural. We didn't know it was going to be like this. She didn't have no time for it. She just gave a natural birth with no epidural. She didn't tear. Everything was perfect. You know what I'm saying? It didn't hurt as much. She wasn't like extremely like screaming. She wasn't crying. It was like, I don't know. The situation was just truly like unbelievable compared to a lot of other pregnancies
Not
and
even that,
births.
it's just what you imagine, because it's like what you see on TV. Because obviously if it's your first time, then you just don't know what to really expect. You go watch a documentary, you watch anything, the people screaming their head off. So you're thinking that this situation is supposed to be 10 times tense than what's happening. And to us, it was just like not much of anything going on.
Wow, I called 911 at 11:33
And
after
I-
Karen's water broke.
And I had her at 12:21.
Wow.
That wasn't even an hour. That means calling, waiting for paramedics to get to us, waiting for them to take me down the stairs into the truck, drive me to the hospital, get me upstairs, get me a room, prep me, and have the baby. That wasn't even an hour.
Right.
And pushing. Oh, I'm a champ.
Exactly, guys. So all of that literally happened in less than an hour, literally with no complications. She came out crying. Like, they didn't have to spank her, they didn't have to do anything to get her to cry. She came out crying. Right after that, man, the baby was very chill. She is very, very chill. She's right here, and y'all see she's not crying. I mean, we had a few little small tiny cries because she was hungry, but other than that, she's been very chill. So yeah, guys, here's 7 the next morning after.
Good morning, Seven. This is your grandma, Audrey. I could not be happier. You are the joy of my life. I'm sure you're going to be the joy of your mom and dad's life. I am so happy to have a beautiful first grandchild. You are my number one, Seven, always and forever. Forever. I love you.